What's your view on the $300 energy rebate the government's introduced?
Well, it's an admission of guilt that their energy policy has failed. And, we've been clear we'll support it. There's a cost of living crisis. But what Australians need to understand is their energy system is broken because we have this ideological view of an all-renewables approach. An all-renewables approach that's going to cost you, the Australian taxpayer, $1.2 trillion in its first iteration. And that's putting up wind factories and solar factories and 28,000 kilometres of transmission lines that haven't hit your energy bill at the moment. And so what we've said from the very start when I became Nationals leader and Peter Dutton's had the courage to come along with us is to explore nuclear, and we will have an energy policy that is all of the above. And we've been very clear about this. And while you'll see the detail in the coming weeks, we've said that we will transition existing coal-fired power stations, we'll sweat them out as long as we can, and they'll transition across to nuclear power plants in about 6 or 7 of those locations. We'll continue to ramp up gas and ramp up significantly with carbon capture storage in the safest place. And we'll also have renewables as part of that mix. But what we want to do is make sure the renewables mix goes on an environment it can't destroy, which is people's rooftops and business rooftops, rather than clearing native vegetation and tearing up prime agricultural land. Wouldn't you put renewable energy where the concentration of power is required, where the concentration of population is? And that alleviates the need for all these transmission lines. And so that's the energy policy that you'll see from Peter Dutton and I. We've been very clear, the specifics around the total mix and around where those locations are, we'll put them out, but it wasn't appropriate to announce those in a budget reply speech. That there's a whole economy that needs to be addressed in that speech, and it deserves the respect of Peter Dutton and I in standing up and looking the Australian people in the eye and telling you this is how we're going to get there, and this is what your energy mix will look like. That's all right, so affordable, reliable.
Brings me to my next question. When's that? Is it before the end of the year?
Well, yeah, of course it will be. I mean, this is a complex area that we want to make sure that we're open and transparent and honest with. What you see is what you'll get from us, because what we want to do is not only have a reliable energy source, but we want something that's actually really going to underpin manufacturing. You can't keep subsidising manufacturing, because unfortunately what happens is Australian taxpayers' money runs out. So you've got to fix the fundamentals of supporting manufacturing, which is reliable energy.
Mr. Littleproud, is it true that Darren Chester doesn't want a nuclear power plant in or near his electorate, one of your MPs?
No, there are conversations, and we have actually done extensive polling in all of the electorates that we'll be looking at, in those 6 or 7 sites that we've been looking at. And I've got to say, it's been very supportive by those in terms of the polling numbers that we've been able to ascertain. Very supportive of a nuclear future, because they see that there is
so those electorates are in favour. Can you tell us what electorates they are that are in favour that you've polled? Well, you mentioned it.
No scoop today, mate. Yeah, but no scoop today. You'll see that when we announce the locations, mate. But we'll be open and honest, but we want to make sure that we've engaged with those communities as well in the opportunities of having high-paid jobs that will actually not only give them those within the nuclear industry, but also opportunity for more manufacturing.
Nearly out of time. Just finally and briefly, should the PM take action against Fatima Payman concerning her River to the Sea proclamation in the Parliament? And what do you make of the government's handling of it?
Yes, of course he should. He should expel her. In fact, in the UK, there's been UK politicians, Labor politicians, that the Labor Party over there have had the courage to expel because of these outrageous statements. If he had the courage of his conviction, he would walk in there and he would expel her from the Labor Party. That's what leadership's about. That's an abhorrent statement. And I just don't see how her position is tenable in the Labor Party or in any committees that the Prime Minister has actually appointed her to. This is a moment of truth for Anthony Albanese and the Labor government to show their true values and principles.
Nationals leader David Littleproud, thanks for your time this morning.